go ahead and get this welded down. Now after these are all welded down, we're going to go ahead and we'll tack weld all the edges. Now I'm not going to weld this back in solid on the edges, that's not necessary. So if you just spot weld it and get your welds to where they're about an inch apart along all your edges, that'll be fine. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to finish welding this, and then we'll be back to show you what to do after that. So we'll be back shortly. Okay, now you can see we've got it all welded in, and I did go ahead and I did weld the panel in solid. It's probably better to weld it in solid, although it's not necessary. And you can see there where I welded in all the holes that we drilled, and everything is welded solid. Now I went ahead and I ground all the welds, and then I DA'd around where the welds were, and I'm going to now fill this with Duraglass. The reason for the Duraglass is to smooth out our edges and fill our welded areas, and to make the panel smooth again and blend into the rest of the trunk, so you won't be able to tell that we actually replaced this trunk panel from the inside. Now I show how to do this kind of fill work in our second video, the advanced auto body and complete base coat clear coat painting video, because we weld a lot of panels in, patch panels in on that truck that we did. So I'm going to start to fill this here, and then we'll cut out when we come back. This will already be DA'd. This will already be DA'd and be ready for primer. So, but like I say, we show you how to do a lot of the finish work in our other video. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead then and fill all this and fill our seams, and we'll be back after it's going to be filled. We're going to go ahead and sand it out, and then it'll be ready to prime. After we get this in primer, then we'll go underneath the car and seam seal the edges and fill the where we cut the panel in between the braces, and then the underside will be done too. But I want to show you how to put the fill in on the other beams. So we'll go ahead, we'll do this, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, and as you can see, this is the underside of the new trunk floor. We've already got it painted and everything, but all you have to do underneath here is on the edges where the seams were still shown there, you want to seam seal along that edge, and then in the front edge the same way, where we joined the new trunk floor with the old panel. All you do is run seam sealer on there. And all you got to do after that is just get the floor pan scuffed, and you can either paint it like we did here. Most people undercoat and paint these black, but the whole underside of this car, this 68 GTO, as you can see, is all painted. Everything is painted. No undercoat on this car. Of course, this is going to be a #1 show car, and it probably won't get driven on the road ever. So, like I say though, if you're going to be driving yours, you can probably just undercoat it or paint it black. But all we did was where we welded this on the cross braces onto the floor is just basically DA'd and smoothed it out, because the gas tank will go in here and cover this. Now what we'll do is we'll show you the inside of the trunk floor. As it's all finished, it's already been speckle painted. So check this out under here a little bit, and we'll be back in a moment. And here's the inside of the trunk. As you can see, it's already been speckle painted. Now the speckle paint is a water-based paint, so what we do after we speckle paint the trunk is let that dry for about 24 hours, and then we spray clear coat. We clear coat the trunk, and that way the water, if you ever get the trunk wet, which you never hope you get your trunk wet, but this way the clear coat will protect and won't let the water get in and eat the trunk paint off. Like I say, that is a water-based paint. But as you can see where we put the trunk together there, there's no seam. You can't tell where we did it. All the seams look original and factory. Even up in the front, you can't tell, and that's the idea. You don't want to be able to tell. Alright, well, this will wrap up our tutorial on replacing the trunk floor, and we'll move on to something else, be it replace the fender bottoms or put on a quarter panel or put in new floor pans. We'll be back shortly.